Hello everybody. In this lecture series on mechatronics, here we have the module 3 on PLC, and this is the second lecture of this module 3. This mechatronics has 17 ME 754 and I am Dr. B. Krishna Prabhu, Professor of Department of Mechanical Engineering, Canara Engineering College. So let us see the second lecture of module 3. Let us see the contents first. In this lecture, we will first of all see what is a PLC and how these PLCs are different from personal computers, which we often call as PCs or general purpose digital computers. And also we will just see a overlay of block diagram of PLC. So first of all, let us see what is a PLC. As you are already aware, a PLC is nothing but a programmable logic controller. So very much similar to a microcontroller, rather it is a microcontroller itself. And as you are aware, these logic controllers are digital electronic devices. So in electronic devices, basically there are two varieties. One are analog devices and other are digital devices. These analog devices normally make use of continuous signals in order to process the data, whereas digital devices make use of digital signals like binary number, zeros and ones, and they use that zeros and ones in order to make work over there. So most of the devices that are used nowadays in electronics, they are digital devices, and in this particular figure we can see that a PLC, just like a electronic system, it takes the input in, processes it, and produces the output. So especially for processing the input by the PLC, proper programming is needed, so that program will be fetched to the PLC. Okay. Now a PLC uses a programmable memory as well in order to store instructions and to implement functions such as logic function, sequencing, timing, counting, and arithmetic. Now while talking about a personal computer also, we have seen that we need a processor over there, arithmetic logic unit, control unit, and memory unit. Together they are called as a microprocessor. And apart from that one, apart from microprocessor, it also requires a memory in which the data and instructions or programs could be stored. A similar kind of programmable memory is also made available in PLCs, so that in these memories one can store the data that needed to be processed by the PLC, and more importantly the programs or the instructions that are needed for the PLC to operate. And as far as the functions of these PLCs are concerned, they normally do logical functioning, sequencing, timing, counting, as well as arithmetical operations. They are designed to control machines and process, and also to make programming easy. Now, of course, just like microprocessors, unlike these microprocessors, these microcontrollers are basically used for controlling the machines. That is the reason why they have very wide applications in the industrial environment, right? They can be used for controlling the machines or controlling the process as well. And having a PLC in any automated system makes it easy to program that particular whole process, or program that particular, or control that particular machine. The term logic is used because the programming is primarily concerned with implementing the logic and switching the operations, right? So this is one of the very important aspect when it comes to PLC. In micro processors also, we know that logical operations are very important operations. Arithmetical operations, logical operations. These two operations are very important. That is the reason why a separate device which is called arithmetical logic device, or ALU, arithmetic logic unit, is been used in microprocessors, right? But in microcontrollers, it is more of a logical operation rather than arithmetical operations. Logical because often a system need to take decisions what to do if the flow in a line increases, what to do if the flow in a line decreases. Now accordingly it has to take decision and switch over. In the sense, if the flow is increasing, in order to reduce the flow, then connected valves needed to be opened or closed. Connected valves needed to be closed over that, right? So switching of a open valve to a closed valve, that is the activity that needed to be done over there. And on what basis it is being done? It is based on the logic that has been applied in any programming. Input devices like switches and output devices like motors being controlled are connected to PLCs, right? So while talking about in a previous video, we have seen in lecture 1, we have seen with respect to a simple PLC called Arduino. In Arduino, we have seen different components that are being used in Arduino, and we have observed that on that Arduino board there is not only a microcontroller present. Apart from that particular controller, there are many terminals that are provided for connecting the input, and many terminals are also provided in order to give the output. There are something like IO0 to IO13, totally 14 number of input output pins are provided. Why are these pins provided? These pins are useful in connecting any input devices and any output devices to that particular microcontrollers. Input devices like sensors. So sensors are one of the most important input devices that are used even in industrial environment. Right? Those sensors act like input to the programmable logic control, and those input devices could be connected to a PLC. Such provisions are provided on a PLC. At the same time, after processing, the output needed to be given to the output devices. Output devices like actuators. Now actuators are to be activated like motors, like maybe pneumatic system, pneumatic cylinders. They are needed to be, or maybe even the valves, a fluid valve, fluid control valve, that needed to be activated, right? So in order to activate, obviously such valves or such output devices, such motors needed to be connected to the PLCs. So provision for connecting such output devices like motors, cylinders, etc. is also provided in a PLCs, and then the controller monitors the input and outputs. Yes, basic job of a PLC is to monitor this one. Monitor the input, monitor the output. What is happening in the output device, what is happening with the input device, those things are to be monitored. And at the same time, depending on the program that has been written, controlling is also very important. Like the previous example that I had given, if the flow rate increases in a pipeline, then continuously the flow rate needed to be monitored by PLC. Once there is a variation that has been observed, then proper corrective measures should also be taken. That is also the job of a PLC. It properly instructs the output devices to control the flow rate in a pipeline, right? So that is the basic job of a PLC. These devices operate according to the program that is stored. Obviously, the program is the heart of the system. It is the program that does every job that we are expected to be done by a PLC. PLC by itself is just nothing. It cannot do anything unless otherwise it is not programmed. And even when programmed, the program that we are thinking about should be very nicely written. Otherwise, PLCs may not effectively or optimally function. So that is why it is the program that is stored in the programmable memory that decides how exactly this PLC functions or works. In the earlier systems in industry, the control system were basically of relays. They were relay based control systems. Now these relays are nothing but electromechanical devices. So whenever we say electromechanical devices, they have their own disadvantages. And one of the largest disadvantage is that their response time is very high. And second one is they always have mechanical contacts. Mechanical contacts will lead to wear of the contacts, as a result of which often the relays are needed to be replaced. And once we say a relay is being used in the circuit or in a system, then the other problem that is going to come is that whenever we need to change the functioning of a system or a process, when we need to change the system of a process, then the whole relay circuits needed to be changed. Now for a set of functions that needed to be done in a process, we have a hardwired circuit, and if you have to change the process, then the whole hardwired circuit needed to be changed. That is one of the biggest hurdle of relay based systems. That is why, in order to overcome these disadvantages, engineers introduced programmable logical controls into a control system. So they replaced hardwired relay by PLCs. Right. So this could be made a little bit more clear if we check this particular figure. In this figure, we can see three cylinders: cylinder number A, cylinder B, and cylinder C. And these three cylinders are controlled by two relays, relay number 1 and relay number 2 over here. And these two relays are used to switch over from first cylinder to second cylinder, or cylinder A to cylinder B, or cylinder B to cylinder C. A relay based system normally looks something like this one. But as I already mentioned, relay based systems have their own problems. First is because they are hardwired. That is one of the biggest hurdle. That is why PLCs were been used in place of relays. That made the industrial automation much easier. Now, PLCs have the great advantage that it is possible to modify a control system without having rewire. That is one of the biggest advantage. When a process changes, like say that we saw a previous example, A, B, C, three cylinders. Let us say that the process is defined as A plus A minus, B plus B minus, C plus C minus. If that is the process that is defined, which means that first of all cylinder A expands, then retracts, that is B A minus. Once A minus happens, then B plus, then the cylinder plus expands, cylinder B expands, then B minus, cylinder B contracts. Once that process is over, then C plus. C plus is C, cylinder number C expands, then C minus, cylinder number C contracts. If that is the process needed to be done, these cylinders are needed to be properly interconnected with each other through the relays. Then after B plus, if B minus is needed to be done, how to switch over? A relay needed to be used over there in order to switch over from one to other. So all these things, the relays, the valves and the cylinders are all wired with each other in order to execute a process which is called A plus B, A minus, B plus B minus, C plus C minus. Now what if we want to change this particular process by telling that A plus, B plus, C plus, then A minus, B minus, C minus. Then now if we have to switch over to this particular process, the first essential thing is that all these valves, relays and cylinders are needed to be recircuited in order to get the required operation A plus, B plus, C plus, A minus, B minus, C minus. That is the biggest hurdle of any relay systems that are used in the industry. So the advantage of using PLC, that is why is no need of rewiring at all. Only thing is that the PLC that we have used in the circuit needed to be reprogrammed. Previously it was programmed for A plus A minus, B plus B minus, C plus C minus. Now that program needed to be reprogrammed or rewritten to do A plus B plus C plus, A minus B minus, C minus. So it is the only programming part that needed to be changed. However, rewiring is not needed because relays are not present over there in the circuits. Rather, PLC is just controlling every cylinder that we have used in the circuit that we are talking about. So that is one of the biggest advantage of having PLCs or replacing relays with the PLCs. But there are certain requirements in order to do this one. The requirement is that an operator has to key in a different set of instruction. Yes, the PLC needed to be reprogrammed. Now reprogramming, there are one or two different ways available. One thing is that we can connect the PLC to a PC and rewrite the program and transfer that particular program to PLC. Then PLC is programmed. Once PLC is programmed like this, then it could be reconnected into the system. But if it is not that easy to remove a PLC and bring it to the computer and then reprogram, there are handheld consoles are available which could directly be connected into a PLC, and the program that the console has could be transferred. This is how we can reprogram the PLCs as well. These are the two different ways available in order to input a different set of instructions or reprogram the PLC. PLCs are much faster than relay operated system. Yes, as I already mentioned, once we say that we are talking about a mechanical system or maybe an electromechanical system, they are quite slow. Their response time is very high when compared to any electronic circuit. Now if we compare a mechanical switch and electronic switches are very fast. Transistor based switches are really very fast when compared to contact based mechanical systems or mechanical switches rather, right? So that is why that is why PLCs are better option, especially in industrial environment, to control any process. So they are much faster when compared to relays. The result is a flexible system which can be used to control systems which vary quite widely in their nature and complexity, right? They are of course, if we don't have to rewire a system, if the change in the process could be easily met by just transferring a program into PLC, and if they have very fast if they give us very fast response, then definitely such kind of systems are really very flexible. So that is the reason why PLC based control systems are really very famous when compared to relay based control system. And more than that, there is one more problem with the relay, that is whenever there is a switchover, it makes a noise because one contact needed to be broken and other contact needed to be made. And if these contacts are at high voltage, then it will lead to spark. Then a spark will lead to wear. Wear will lead to replacement. So these are the some of the problems that are associated with the relay. So that is why it is mentioned that they are quiet whenever they are used in any systems. PLCs are really quiet, unlike relays which make lot of noise. Changeover that is taking place in relay could be very easily heard by human eyes, human ears rather, but PLCs are really very silent, and they can handle the complex work in any process that is provided to them. Okay. Such a system are widely used for the implementation of logic control functions because they are easy to use and program. So logic control functions in a logical control system, it is much beneficial to use PLCs. Hence PLCs are very famous in industrial environment, especially in industrial automation. So next we will see how these PLCs are different from PCs. So first thing, we must know that both these PLCs and PCs are digital electronic systems. However, in some time back, in the last lecture, we have observed that PCs are general purpose digital computers, whereas PLCs are special purpose digital computers. So PLCs are normally used for one or two specific functions, few specific functions, but PCs are used for very wide varieties of data processing needs. So PLCs are similar to computers but have certain features which are specific to their use as controllers. So let us just see what are those differences that we can observe in PCs and PLCs. First one is they are rugged and designed to withstand vibrations, temperatures, humidity and noise. So obviously, if we are telling that in an industrial environment we are going to use PLCs, then the PLCs that are being designed must take the harsh environment of industrial floor. And in any mechanical industries, vibrations, high temperature, noise, humidity, these are unavoidable. Most of the time they are unavoidable. So the PLCs hence must be rugged and they should be able to tolerate all these aspects. Many a time computers are not, or microprocessors are not designed for such harsh environment. That is why we say that we normally keep such a PCs, personal computers, in a controlled environment. Many a time we prefer to keep it in air conditioned room as well, dust free, noise free, so on and so forth, right? But PLCs are not like that, because PLCs are used in industrial environment, in the shop floor. They are designed to be rugged. Then interfacing for inputs and outputs is inside the controller. Yes, all these interfaces required in order to connect the inputs like sensors and transducers, or taking the output or connecting the output devices like motors, valves, cylinders, etc., etc. All those things, all such interfacing is taking place inside the controller itself, which is not the case in personal computers. Easily programmable. They are easily programmable, like many a time graphical programming is followed, something like a ladder diagram, which is written with some easy softwares that are available, open source as well, like Codesys. So they are easily programmable. So often ladder diagrams are being used in order to program PLCs, and a ladder diagram make use of a graphical interface rather than the text interface. Nothing much about typing, unlike Arduino. In Arduino we have text interface, wherein C-like language is used for programming the Arduino. That is not the case with the PLCs. For PLCs we can make use of graphical based ladder diagrams using softwares like Codesys. Now coming to the last part of this lecture, the block diagram of a PLC. Now this figure shows the internal structure of a PLC, wherein we can see all the components that are required for a processing unit to do processing. Let us just observe what are the things that we have over here. Like first of all, we have a CPU that is present over there, and this is the heart of the system, where every processing of the data is taking place. If the input is coming from the sensor, that is coming to this CPU for further processing, and programs that are being written in the CPU will decide what to be done with that input, and after processing what should be the output to be done. So all those things are decided by the CPU. So of course the CPU is working with respect to the clock. So clock will normally decide what is the at what time, what is the kind of job that is needed to be done by the CPU. Then there is a system ROM, where the programs could be permanently stored, and then there are two RAMs. One is the data RAM and other over here the user program RAM. Then input output unit. Now on the console itself, a input output device is available, and that could be used over there, right? Then there are other buses we can see, like we have a data bus over here, control bus over here, and address bus. So these are the three types of buses that are often used, whether it is a microprocessor or a microcontroller or a PLCs. Then there are a lot of drivers that are needed, which are connected through the interface. Driver interface is also provided. Then optocoupler. Now this is one very important aspect, optocoupler. Optocoupler is very much essential in any PLC in order to prevent the PLCs from higher voltages that may be connected in electrical motors. So more about this one we will be checking in the next lecture. So so this particular figure will tell us schematically the block diagram of a PLC. Now basically it consists of three very important parts. First one is a central processing unit, that is a CPU, and second one is memories like RAM, ROM, program ROM, so on and so forth. And then third one is input output interfaces, this input output interfaces. So in the next lecture we will see these three components of any PLC in detail. Thank you very much for joining.